And to a very wild, very fiery journey today on Twitchy Tuesday. We are in rare form. Mars is doing his thing. We'll talk all about it. Today, though, we are stepping into the boundless realm of Sagittarius season. I am super excited to bring the energy of Sagittarius season. It's got a little bit of a different flavor than in years past, because we've got the sun, we have Mars, we have Ceres and Mercury all uniting during this Sagittarius season, really getting that fire going within us. And at the exact same time, we have Saturn and Neptune and Pisces bringing the ice and the coming winter season in really tense squares with each of these planets and points and luminaries. So we're embarking on an adventure today, exploring each of these expansive energies, embracing the limitless possibilities that Sagittarius season can still bring, even with those squares. We're going to start out with cleaning out the broom closet and end with our twitchy tip of the week. So hang on, because we are on an adventure of learning the astrology, staying for the tarot. Cleaning out the broom closet this week. If y'all are feeling it, today is a very spicy day. I just was posting on X about this. I was ready a little bit before, so I did this little reading for for Mars and all that Mars is doing, because it has been spicy. So if you are feeling the heat, it's a Mars day. Today is a Mars day. Mars is very close to the sun. We just got off of Mars's meetup yesterday with the new moon in Scorpio and Uranus opposition. There's a lot happening, and it's just going to get more and more and more until we hit that Cazimi, and then that energy starts to ebb away. But Mars isn't done even after the Cazimi. So we're going to talk about that today. But I definitely posted this. I did this little card draw to talk about it. This is what we got out. Mars's journey right now. We have the 10 of Swords and the Hermit. On the other side of the 10 of Swords and the Hermit, which was really cool to see, was the Ace of Cups and the Empress. So in the middle, this kind of bridge between being this Queen of Cups. So with this energy, it was very much telling me, like, look, shit's hard right now, right? Shit is fiery. It's happening. The 10 of Swords could be falling on some of your swords. Your best bet is to stay quiet, stay internal, do a little bit less, be in that more hermit mode, deep reflection, deep inner understanding. If you did pop off, if things did get a little spicy, go back and rework that. Go back and say, okay, where did this actually come from? Pinpoint those things. Watch projecting. That's where this 10 of Swords really comes in. Watch projecting on other people, projecting your insecurities, your fears, whatever Scorpio is bringing up for you, projecting that outward and onto others. So it's a ripe time right now. And your best bet is to just be in this hermit mode, be in this place of reflection and understanding. And truly, with this Queen of Cups that takes us through to this amazing abundance of the Ace of Cups and the Empress, this is literally feeling through everything, riding the waves of emotion. We are in Scorpio, the water sign, the fixed water sign. It's kind of swampy. There's not a lot of waves unless some wind gets kicked up. So it's not like this mermaid has a lot, like can swim. This is more feeling to me, not more like mer person in the deep bottom swells of the ocean, but like the, there's a name for them. I'm not going to remember the name. I read it in a book. They're the they're the fairy folk that live in the waters of the swamp. Somebody throw it up in the chat if you know exactly what I'm talking about. If not, I'll try to get into that. I'll try to get that information. But that's what this is more reminding me of, is you have to go through this emotional process. You have to let these things move through you, not allowing them to get stuck, not allowing yourself to get stuck within this. There needs to be movement. I get it. Challenging, right? We're in a fixed sign. We're in a sign that is very still. It's very murky water. It's still allowing the process to happen. Because on the other side, if you can accomplish all of that, is some really fucking amazing things, right? We've got this the Ace of Cups, excuse me. We've got the Empress here. We've got these two cards that speak to that maturity, speak to the blessings coming in afterwards, speak to there's light at the end of the tunnel, speak to there's this, if you can work through this, there's a lot that you can high five yourself. The Empress, there's a lot that you can high five yourself with. Empress also very aligned with Venus, who is in Libra, who can provide you with some of that flexibility, right? Some of that air quality where maybe that's what can help you allow these emotions, whatever is needed to move through you. You have resources. That's the other piece with this Eight of Cups. You have resources. You have tools. Are you choosing to use them? Are you choosing to tap into them? So that's how I know we're supposed to be cleaning out the closet, but it is spicy today. So I wanted to ground in on that so that way I didn't lose the cards. The other thing that is really interesting, and I love volcanology. I love volcanoes, always have. Volcanoes, earthquakes. Was studying to be a volcanologist at one point, just enthralled. There has been a lot of volcanic activity, very Mars coming up to this Cazimi, very Mars coming up to a Pluto aspect, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, which is in Capricorn, very earth-based sign. So it's very interesting to see how these volcanoes have begun to ebb and flow during this Mars cycle, where he is literally coming to this Cazimi, this rebirth, the beams of under the beams of the sun. So just wanted to throw that out there too. If anybody else has noticed that, definitely put it in the chat or in the comments. Another thing, couple of things that you can do, and this is just what I do because today definitely was a spicy day. Classical music goes on immediately. Music that brings the tempo down, that brings the energy down, putting on that vibe, getting the candles, getting some calming incense or scents, getting, calming tea, anything of that nature definitely helps. Use your mute button. Your mute button is your friend. Please use your mute button. Use your intuition. There is a lot of times today where I heard very, very clearly, now's not the time to talk. Okay. Listen, hear. Again, there's that hermit energy. Physical activity. If, that's your thing, you can go out for a run or something like that. That would be great. And then my husband pointed this out. Just put on some pointy eyebrows. Just get those eyebrows nice and square and pointy, and then move on. Get on with the day. Enjoy the spiciness, and just, again, let the energy move through you. So 11/14, we had Venus in Libra square Vesta retrograde in Cancer. That happened at 7 degrees even. And then Pallas Athena in Libra squared Pluto in Capricorn at 28 degrees, 11 minutes. We talked a little bit about this support that Pallas Athena in our last Twitchy Tuesday is really providing to Pluto. And here's kind of that first initial before she heads into Pluto's home sign is Scorpio. Here's this first initial taste where this is where Pluto can actually like ask for help or lay grievances on the table. This is the shit I'm dealing with. This is what I need you to help me problem solve. This is what I need you to help me like strategically think through. Like it can be that air of grievances. And with Venus and Libra squaring Vesta, like these are two squares with both of the goddess asteroids. It's very much like, again, with all of this Mars energy, lay those grievances on the table. It's a great day to do that. Great day to like kind of get the bullshit out there. Tomorrow, Mars sextiles. On here, it says Mars and Sag. I'm like, nope, that's not right. Mars sextiles Venus in Libra at 7 degrees, 53 minutes. Then on 11/17, so we've got this beautiful sextile between the lovers. Then on 11/17, this is where shit gets real, right? The rest of the week gets real. This is the build up. This is what we're building up to. 11/17, Mars and Scorpio trines Neptune retrograde in Pisces, 24 degrees, 59 minutes. Then the sun follows and trines Neptune as well, 24 degrees, 59 minutes. That is like a very key point. Look at that in your natal chart. There's going to be something there. And this is while Neptune's in retrograde. So there could be this pulse of higher consciousness coming through. That could be the Hermit, the Empress, like those energies that we were just reading for that Mars journey coming through to gift something, to give something. They are trines, so it is supportive. And then Mercury and Sag will square Juno in Virgo at 11 degrees, 15 minutes. We will end the day with Mars's Cazimi, Sun conjunct Mars, 25 degrees, 37 minutes of Scorpio. So it's quite a lead up, quite a journey we still have to go on, and it's already spicy today. Just know this is going to be building. 11/19, Pallas Athena will ingress into Scorpio. So again, this is now where we can take this grievance, this help that Pluto's asking for, and begin to apply it as Pallas Athena works her way through Scorpio. Then 11/20, the sun conjuncts Sirius in Scorpio at 28 degrees, 3 minutes. The sun in Scorpio will first sextile Pluto in Capricorn, 28 degrees, 18 minutes. Pallas Athena in Scorpio will trine Saturn in Pisces at 0 degrees, 46 minutes. Mercury in Sag will trine Chiron retrograde in Aries at 16 degrees, 2 minutes. And then we end the 20th with Ceres in Scorpio, sextiling Pluto in Capricorn. Yeah, Knight of Wands at 28 degrees, 18 minutes. Knight of Wands popped out like, holy crap. There's a lot of movement happening. There's a lot of, like, there's so much interesting energy of hurry up and wait, go forward but stop. It's like this very push-pull sort of dynamic right now, because it's like, oh, I'm getting the image with this Knight of Wands. I'm getting the image of an obstacle course where it's kind of like we watch Survivor. It's very much like the obstacle courses on Survivor, right? Where it's, no, your whole team has to get through this section before you can go on to the next section. Then only 2 people can go on to the next section to do that. And then once that happens, all your team has to go and climb this wall. Once you climb the wall, only 1 person can unlock this thing. It's like all of these different like tests and different obstacle courses that you're pushed and pulled through. Like, okay, this is the time where you have to do this. No, wait, you got to go over there. And this is now where you have to go. I very much like, that's the image that they gave me with this Knight of Wands. And it's happening in quick succession. I mean, we're talking over the course of this week, all of this energy is meeting up and expounding outward. So, I want to talk before we get into Sagittarius season and what Sag season is going to look like. I want to talk about these this week as it pertains to Pluto and these aspects that we've seen with Pluto. So again, we've got Pallas Athena squaring Pluto. We have Sun sextiling Pluto, which means next week Mars will sextile Pluto. We have Sirius sextiling Pluto. So there's like these successions of Pluto aspects that are occurring over the next 2 weeks. And the one thing that I want to bring up here is any aspects to Pluto at this 28 degree mark. So the last one that we have this week is at 28 degrees, 18 arc minutes. This is it. This is it. I know I've said that multiple times over and over. I can't say it enough that this is finality. This is not like the 9, it's the 10. This is it. We are done. Pluto won't be headed back to 28 degrees, just like he wasn't headed back to 27. So all the aspects that happen at 27 degrees, done. The conversations that Pluto's able to have and maintain at 28 degrees, done, will never happen again in our lifetime. So these aspects that are upcoming have this sort of finality to them. Like if Pallas Athena, if Pluto doesn't take the opportunity, or Pallas Athena doesn't ask for that opening to come out and say, air your grievances, and that doesn't happen, that's it at this 28 degrees. You're going to have to wait until we get to 29 degrees and come back then. And we've got to talk in a different manner now, right? Because it might be a different sort of aspect. Maybe it's not a trine anymore. It's a quincunx or a different sort of aspect. So there is this finality, and I just got the 8 of Cups. Look at how ethereal this 8 of Cups is. Like this is this energy right here. This is the exact energy that I'm speaking of. With this, I'm getting goosebumps. With the Sun and Mars aspects this week to Pluto, any aspect to Pluto, you can relate, because it's the Sun and Mars with Pluto, you can relate that to the energy of determination and ambition. Like, I kept hearing the message, and even with this 8 of Cups showing up, I kept hearing the message like, whatever finality is occurring right now for you, like this is very clear. Like she's very ethereal. So there's maybe some like unknowns about how it's going to turn out, but you're pretty effing clear about what's occurring right now. This finality that I continue to speak of is not unknown. It's clear. The picture is clear as day. It's ethereal. There's a little bit of unknown to it, right? But what is happening, what this finality is at this 28 degrees degree mark of Capricorn, it's it, Hence the reason why you may have, and an 8 is that forward movement, getting through, the infinity symbol, going ups and downs and circling back around. That finality, that knowing, is probably why you're feeling more determined and ambitious to do the things you need to do. Now, that can be very overwhelming. 8 of Cups, right? Here comes this overwhelming emotion with that. There can be grief that comes with that. There can be shame that comes with that. There can be self-worth issues that come with that. There can be these themes, and it really, you can look at your natal chart. Where is this occurring for you, right? That can help kind of guide you. Again, this is an unknown. The finality is very clear. How Pluto works, though, is he's not asking you if you want it. Your wants are kind of immaterial at this point, right? This is occurring. So it doesn't mean you have to want it. It does not mean you have to like it. It does not mean that you're not afraid of it. It does not mean that it's easy. None of that is what Pluto is here for, right? You can have all of those. You can have all eight. You can have all 8 feels. You can 8 of cups. You can have all 8 feels. But you know it. You know it. You know what's happening. You know what's coming. You know what's being asked of you. You know what this finality is. And if you have no clue, you hear this and you're like, what is she talking about? Then this message isn't for you. And that's okay, because not all of us are in that same space. There is a space where this Sun, Mars, Pluto, over the course of November and getting into December, there's finality here for some of us. So if that resonates, no, you got to keep going. Like, that's what it is. And here's the piece. And I want to make sure that this is very, very clear, because I think that this is missed, because I know in my own healing journey, I was like, oh my God, I'm missing out on something. Oh my God, this is never going to happen to me because I didn't do it right now, right? That's totally not the case. If you miss it, let's say this finality is like, leaving a job or something of that nature, and you decide not to leave the job. They offer you more money and you decide to stay. Pluto's like, that is not what you need. That's not the path that you need to take. You needed to take the other path. You didn't miss it. But whatever this transformation and finality is for you, it doesn't mean it won't still happen. What that means is the next time there may have to be different adjustments made. It may not be as right or as aligned. Like, it may not be as easy as it was going to be during this time. There might be more required of you to make that transition. There may be more steps that you need to take for that transition. The universe never tells us no. It just tells us not now. So it doesn't mean that this won't happen, right? Like, that's the biggest thing, is you will never be kept that which is for you and your highest purpose, path, and destiny. You'll never be kept from it. This is where free will comes in, that we get to choose if we make those align ourselves to our destiny path. We get to make that choice to do the work necessary to align us to that path. That work, if you're on your path, if you are transforming, if you are going with these flows, you're allowing these things to process, becomes much easier to navigate. It's not a roaring storm in the middle of the ocean. It's easy waves, right? So that's what that means. Like, doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just might show up a little differently, might take a little bit more effort for you than it would have if you would have made the decision, this finality decision, that transformation decision that you knew was right, but you chose a different way. It could also mean, because we can't forget about Uranus here, that you're thrust into it. That's Uranus. You may be removed from our ability to participate actively, right? Meaning you're kind of guiding and directing and moving in flow. That ability to participate actively may be removed. And then you're now participating in a way that you didn't want to. More uphill. Again, it's more about, it's not as easy if, you kind of just let go, let God, right? So that is, I wanted to bring that up because there is, for some of us, there is some very finality things that are occurring. And it ties with this Sun and Mars. It ties with this kind of spicy moment we're having right now. And it's going to get us into Sagittarius season, which is where we're headed next, and get us into December. So Sagittarius season. Let's level set. Ooh, yay, look, 5 of Wands for Sag coming right up. Fire coming in hot and heavy. Let's celebrate. Change of season. It is definitely time to celebrate. I love that the 5 of Wands came out because, like I said, this Sag season is a little bit different than Sag seasons of the past. When Sag season came around, in the last couple of years, it was this like break that we needed. It was like this moment where it was like, okay, we've got a moment to breathe. Yes, there's some heavy shit coming up in Capricorn. Yep, there's some heavy shit coming up in the next year, but we do have this moment to like get all of our things together. This Sagittarius season has a little bit of a different taste to it this year with all of this energy here. So let's just kind of ground in on Sag as a sign. When the sun ingresses into Sag, what is Sagittarius all about? So it is a mutable masculine fire sign. It is a positive sign. So it's got the, Jupiter is the benefic. It is ruled by Jupiter. This is this happiness, the benefic area, the higher vibratory areas. It is the archer. So typically you see Sagittarius, the imagery of it as a centaur, half man, half horse, pulling back the arrow, shooting with the bow, shooting it out into the unknown. So those are just kind of the symbols and imagery. The phrasing for Sagittarius is I perceive. What do I bring into my being? What higher knowledge can I gain? Sagittarius rules the hips and the thighs. So great time to do some hip work. I've got, look, if you need a great recommendation for a like system to help you open up the energy in your hips, open up the energy in your body, I've got somebody for you. My soul sister at Ripples in the Matrix is doing a huge embodied segment that I can get you hooked up. So just DM me or put it in the comments. Let me know. I can get you in touch with her. That can help, especially during this time, to really open up and expand that area, begin to truly heal that area, become embodied, gain things from that. It's a wonderful time to do that. It is the ruler of the ninth house. So the ninth house is all about higher understanding, higher learning, the conscious mind, spiritualism in the 3D aspect, how you are it's that kind of joining of and the coming of understanding that we are a spiritual being having a human experience. Ninth house. And it is about experiences as well. What you experience inside from, what as you go through your day to day, as you go through your wands, as you go through all of that, how does that experience shape your thoughts and beliefs? Paula Berlin, thank you so much for commenting on YouTube. Are your cards from Walmart? They are not, but if you go into the description, it should be there right now, or it will be after. I actually get all of my cards either from Amazon or during my travels when at Botanicas and other places that I get. This one though is from Amazon, and the link should be in the description box. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, so the other thing with Sag is perception, which is your intuition. As you perceive things, how are you perceiving your internal body system? That perception on that internal side leads to understanding. Understanding of things leads to the dissolving of those things. Beliefs, issues, values, this symbiotic, again, I love the 8, I love the 5, the change of what you perceive and take in, what you understand helps you outside and move forward in a different direction with new understanding. If you are open to that cycle, right? If you are open to that cycle of, and that curiosity piece, which is so, curiosity really does come in all fire signs, this level of curiosity. And in Sag, that curiosity is very much in that matured, let me challenge my beliefs, 5 of Wands. Let me challenge the things that I know and go and find out what is true for me. So that's Sag. And when we talk about Sag season, that's going to span November into December. We've already talked about the sun there. We already did what Mercury in Sagittarius energy is like. We did that last time. So let's talk about Mars in Sagittarius. How does Mars show up in a fellow fire sign, a higher octave fire sign? Mars ends up becoming, and especially as he's literally being birthed anew here in a week, and then we'll head into Sag and immediately get stopped by Saturn. He can be a little impulsive in Sagittarius. So there is a very free spirit energy of Sagittarius. That Mars just loves to take and like, well, fuck it. I can do that. Let's do it. Let's go out and do it. Right here. We've got a Queen of Coins that came out and we've got the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. It's like the Wheel of Fortune. It's like these big risks, right? It's like, oh, let's spin this wheel. Let's put it all on red. Let's go for it. That can be a little bit of Mars, in Sag. Scattered action, another, like, this is where Sagittarius, being able to keep your fire in the hearth, keep your fire grounded, Queen of Coins, Queen of Pentacles, keeping your fire grounded, so that way the fire doesn't scatter. The action that Mars takes isn't all over the place, over-promising and under-delivering, right? Like, Mars is just doing too much. And then you see here, look at the bottom of the deck, 9 of Wands. I saw it and I'm like, oh yeah, there we go. It's just, you're spread too thin. Mars in Sag, another Queen of Wands reference, is great at talking sales. Great sales talker. Can like, sell ice to an Eskimo. Like, that's a Mars and Sag native. Loves to travel. Can absolutely, again, the Wheel of Fortune can absolutely be that, like, I need to get out. I need to go experience life. I need to travel. I need to do things. It can be a lot of wanderlust, especially if, like, where you're at or the location you're at, you end up having things needing to be rescheduled because, like, flights get canceled or whatever. Like, there can be this, all right, here we go. Mars also, 9 of Wands, can have a broad range of interest in Sagittarius. So these natives, if you have natal Mars in Sag, can just want to grab onto everything. Well, yeah, today I'm, learning pottery, and tomorrow I'm totally going to go and take a class on astrophysics. Okay, cool. So it can be this, like, I want to know everything, very independent. It is the physical, how you physically show up with where Mars if you have a Mars in Sag, which house that's in for you natally. So for example, if you have a Mars Sag in the 6th house, your physical actions in that area could be very health related, very structured. It could be things like circuit training, CrossFit's really interesting to you, like things that have process and procedure to them, rowing, things of like anything physical that has that, and health related, like maybe it's, hey, I'm literally on a meal plan, meal structure, etc. So that's how Mars can show up in Sagittarius, that kind of energy, the energy that he's going to be bringing in. And then we have Cirrus. So goddess asteroid, let's see what's coming up. 10 of Wands. I love all the fire. Love all the fire coming out for Sag. So this is the explorer spirit. This is having Sirius go into Sag. Like, look, she's even on an exploration. Even though she has all of her wands with her, she's still going somewhere. Always looking to find ways to gain truth and knowledge. Always digging in, always trying to understand more, always trying to like, nope, that doesn't make sense. Let me go learn something else. There's a lot of deep exploration into the self when Sirius gets into Sagittarius. The experiences that you have, how have they shaped you? What new experiences do you want to have? There's a lot of deep personal learning that you can do while she transits through this sign. And then Mars, Mercury, the sun can all help kind of bring in that personal exploration space. Again, thinking through that like hermit energy, doing the work on self first and really focusing on self. You know, we're getting into a season that for, you know, a majority of the Christian world looks at as a time, you know, of this should be about others. This should be about celebrating with family and friends. There's something very powerful to be said about setting strong boundaries for what your needs are during this time, to do your own self exploration for what this time means for you, what you want to make out of this time. And, you know, experiencing new things. Maybe you don't want to do the, you know, Christmas dinner at so-and-so's house like we've done every year since I'm 5. I want to go to St. Bart's for Christmas this year. Go do that. You got all the energy pointing like, yeah, that sounds wonderful. So that is all of the planets, points, luminaries that are coming into Sagittarius through November and December. So prior to any point, planet, or luminary getting even like remotely into Sagittarius energy, like they get right in at 0 degrees and immediately they square Saturn. Immediately. Saturn is at 0 degrees right now. Let's take a look. Where's Saturn at? What did we have up here? 46 arc minutes on the 20th is where Saturn's at. So when some of these planets, points, or luminaries get in, Saturn may not even be at 1 degree yet. So they immediately enter into Sag in a square to Saturn and Pisces, who is now direct. Thank you. So anytime, so now we've got this entrance, right? This grand entrance of, oh, Saturn's here. Hi. They can now, once they pass the Saturn test, can now go through Sagittarius to try to enjoy this buoyant energy. And then guess what happens? Before any planet, point, or luminary can get out of Sagittarius, they have to square Neptune. I told you, this is a little bit of a different flavor for Sagittarius season than in years past. Mercury is the only planet that will meet Neptune while it's still retrograde. While she's still going backwards, Mercury is the only planet who will meet her. Oh, we got the 9 of Wands that wanted to come out again. While she is retrograde, the rest, Neptune will be direct for. So, like very, very key points with all the energy surrounding Sag season, where we've got, not only do we have these squares, we've got the bleeding November, right? We're still bleeding energy from October. We're still eclipsy. November's still drunk on eclipse energy. We're riding this Sun and Mars, which again won't be done until we get into December 6th. And that's 5 degrees difference. Some astrologers will go out to 15 degrees, and this all depends natal placements, how it's affecting you. But these squares and all of this energy, it's kind of like the party pooper of Sagittarius season. These are like our party poopers of our buoyant energy. What we would normally really hone into, it's like, nope, here's 2 squares to just pop these balloons on these sharp corners, no fucks given. So I will say you definitely need to be ready for the pivot. You need to be ready to transition the energy. You need to be ready to feel stuck, to feel like, nope, not yet. But figure out a way to keep yourself going. Figure out a way to keep the party going. Figure out a way to get into that Sagittarius mode. And just know that, yeah, you're going to go, but you still got this other square you got to meet up with. So it's, like, think through how that might be affecting you, and how really, like, this is a great template right now. How is the Sun and Mars affecting you right now? How are you feeling this? Where are you feeling this? The Hierophant. Be truthful about it. Be truthful to yourself. Don't, I'm hearing, don't get on your high horse and think that you're impervious. Whoa, those were really big words. Thank you, Mercury and Sag. Don't get on your high horse and think that you're impervious to what is going to occur. These are very real things, right? We also have the Fool. There is an opportunity during this time to have the adventure of a lifetime. This is what the Fool, I love this Fool. And this is that Sagittarian type of energy, especially this Mars in Sagittarian type energy of, fuck it, let's jump off. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens if we jump off this cliff. Let's see what happens, if, like, I'm just looking at this because he's kind of on he looks like he's on the Great Wall of China. Like, talking about traveling, talking about jumping off a cliff. Like, he looks like he's on the Great Wall of China, just minstrelling away on his merry tune, Mars in Sagittarius, right? So how are you going to keep the party going? How are you going to keep this Fool energy up? This is the Hierophant and the Fool. Very different signatures. High Saturn, my square with Saturn, high square with Saturn. Like, this Pope wants nothing to do with the Jester, right? These are 2 totally different archetypes that have to meet up and have to find some sort of common ground, right? Have to learn something from each other, have to come to some sort of stasis to move forward, have to acknowledge the power in each. They each took a different path, but ultimately they want the same thing, right? And that's where you can kind of reconcile that information from. The Pope doesn't want this Fool, this minstrel coming into his church and doing his show amongst everybody, right? As he's trying to give sermon. That's not what he wants. And at the same time, the Fool doesn't want the Pope coming into his arena as he is, the court jester, gesturing for the king and telling him that you're doing it wrong. That doesn't serve anything. So these are 2 completely opposite archetypes that live inside of us that can show up for us, and how we can be pulled in both directions. So how do you handle this energy? How are you handling it right now? Because we're already in an applied square. End of story. We're already in an applied square. So how are you handling this now? So the first square to Saturn in Pisces, here are some questions to just think through. What have your realizations been, especially during this time? What have your realizations been? Where are you truly at in your human journey? brutally honest with yourself. What truly affects you and your long-term plans as they stand right now? Do that check. Check yourself. What is affecting you accomplishing your long-term plans? And the answer may be you. Check yourself. How do you adjust living in a world different from the one that you thought that you knew? For many of us, this has been a whole wake-up call. Some of us are in different spaces in that wake-up journey. But reconciling, and I've used that word a few times, but reconciling the programs and the information and the things that you owned as your experience as a child, as a teenager, as a young adult, wherever you're at in that space, middle age doesn't matter, elderly doesn't matter, wherever you're at in that acknowledgement, how are you now adjusting? How are you reconciling that and living in this new world for yourself? The world that, maybe finality, maybe got ripped away from you. Maybe like all of a sudden you experienced something that changed your entire viewpoint, right? We are all, if you live in, really in any country at this time, that like any Western civilization at this time, it's mind-blowing. Like I never thought that like any of the things that are occurring right now could occur. And it's like, okay, this is real. How do I adjust? How do I live in this world? How do I show up in this world? And again, it's not about like focusing outside of your grid square. It's your grid square. Do I want to participate? Do I not want to participate? Do I need to take care of my family? What are the things that I need to do for my home? How does that affect me and my long-term goals? What adjustments do I need to make? What things need to change? What habits need to change so I can continue on my way? We got the 3 of Cups and the 2 of Coins come out. What are the things that need to be done differently so they can be balanced? So I can take this new journey I'm on and make the best of it. There's a little bit here, and I'm actually going to get right into the second square with Neptune and Pisces, because this is pulling me into that Neptune and Pisces energy. So Mercury is going to meet Neptune first as she is retrograde. Did you listen to Mercury when he passed along the information from Neptune when she was retrograde? I always work with Neptune retrogrades, where Neptune's one of the only planets where I feel gets more clear as she retrogrades, where when she is direct, her veil is at the strongest, and it can be very disassociating, like very like unsure, very clogged. But when she's retrograde, when she has to pull back, it's like pulling back that veil into herself. So Mercury is the one that has the information. Mercury and Sag is chit chatty. Did you listen? Right? Did you listen? Passed along the information. You got to be listening. This is a 3, Spirit. Were you listening to Spirit? Were you listening into your intuition? Were you understanding the things that are and acknowledging the things that came up? When Mercury, like, are you owning that lower octave of Sag and thinking that you know it all? Right? That's that lower octave of Sagittarius. I don't need to learn anything. I know everything. Okay. So did you follow your hits? Did you listen? What does that look like? Are you listening? Are you paying attention? because there's balance that can be found here. Mercury's going first. Might as well learn, because Neptune will be very, very veily when the rest gets to her. How are you inspired to make this balance happen? I love that not only is this the Two of Coins, but there is the infinity symbol in this card, the 8. Two numbers of complete balance, 2 numbers of the ebbs and flows. The 8 to me absolutely signifies that Neptune, like that process of flowing through the ups and downs. Are you inspired to expand? Are you inspired to balance out the things that you need to balance out, to become more than what you are right now? Questions in these squares. How have you let doubt and fear block your faith? Again, where are you at in this 8 journey, right? Where are you at in this infinity journey of doubt and fear, faith, doubt and fear? It's like this ebb and flow. What did you learn from Saturn when you met up with Saturn in November? Because now these will be in December. What did you learn from Saturn that you need to take yourself to the long term? How are you embracing the shift of duality, going from duality to a whole cohesive self, 2 and 8, the balance? How are you embracing that? How are you opening and expanding your experiences? There's after Sag, we get into Capricorn, and you don't get to go into Capricorn and set your plans in motion and begin to climb your hill and begin to gain accolades for all of your hard work without being tested by Neptune. Not this season. It's a different flavor this season. High effort is equaling, that's all that they want. Okay. High effort is equaling high reward here. It is in the release of what is no longer needed. So thinking through some of these questions, doing the action necessary, but it's within that release, doubt and fear, all of the things that you need to let go of, that you end up actually fulfilling Sagittarius's greatest desires. The expansion of self, the understanding more, the great knowledge base, the consciousness of things. You actually fulfill those Sagittarian desires through releasing what you no longer need. Because now you have space. You got space for all the curiosity in the world, curiosity of fire sign signature. You get to fill this new space with experiences, with learning, with things that you truly want to do that light you up inside. And that's going to be our journey through Sagittarius season, is these ebbs and flows and honing those in. So that way we get to Yule, we turn on that Capricorn energy and we get to work. Like work, Capricorn. We're Capricorning, all Capricorn season. We love it. It is the best time to do that work, but you got to do this work first. Because if you don't know what your mountain and your terrain looks like, you're going out there unawares. That's where mistakes happen. That's where things fall apart. That's where you don't achieve your goals that you're looking to achieve. All right, before we unveil this week's Twitchy tip, I'd like to invite you to explore a little bit more of what Habitual Sages has to offer. If you are finding value in our cosmic journey that we take together, consider giving us a little high five by hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel. I'm pretty sure it's going to be somewhere right around here. and checking out our other enlightening videos, whether those are Twitchy Tuesdays, whether that's Sabian symbols, tarot readings, or even 12th House podcast. I am love X. We are super active on X with exclusive content you can't get on any other social platform. So if you are on X as well, feel free to join us there too. Join our thriving community by heading to our website, habitualsages.com. Definitely is in the description box. And subscribe to our email list. And that is going to help you become part of the mission to help 1 million people heal, thrive, and grow. We're working on our next season. I am doing all of this work with you. I don't just sit here and talk about all of this and don't actually put into practice what I talk through. So we are working here diligently on our next season as well. That next season of growth, the next season of expansion for Habitual Sages, which is going to include classes, trainings, exclusive content. We're growing, we're expanding, we're switching things up a little bit. So subscribing to that email list will allow you to be the first to know when we have new offerings. All right, Twitchy tip of the week. This one, there's like one that kind of maybe splits into two, but it was clear as day. All right, trust. This is this faith piece, y'all. Trust what you are moving towards, even if you do not know why. If it feels right, trust what you are moving towards. The why will come later. Hold the vision, trust the process. And you can hold that mantra as tight as you need to as you ride these finality waves, as you ride this scorpionic wave, as you ride into Sagittarius season. No idea what's happening, but I am holding my vision. I've got a vision for my life. I want a big life. I want to do the things I want to do. I've got my vision for my life, and I am trusting the process that it's going to take for me to get there and achieve that. So hold the vision, trust the process, and that is your Twitchy tip of the week. All right, y'all. Thank you for so much for joining me today, for being part of the Habitual Sages family. I can't wait to continue to deepen our connection and continue this cosmic adventure together. Enjoy, everyone. See you next week. Bye.